Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today with our Pathways to Open Source webinar series. Today, we're going to spend the next 45 minutes or so talking about Koha and just a nice introduction to Koha. So if you've never explored this or you've looked at it a few times, this is going to give you a nice view of this. We're going to show both the OPAC and the staff interface. I have Jessie here, and then she'll be able to monitor the chat. So if you do have a question, do not hesitate to enter a chat right into the chat box or the Q&A box, and she'd be happy to assist you with that. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and I'll bring my other window over. This is being recorded, so if there is somebody that you know wants to also see it, please do not hesitate. In addition, all our recorded webinars are on the YouTube channel. Our Bywater YouTube channel has all of our webinars available. Make this a little bit bigger. And for some reason, okay, we're looking at the Koha OPAC. This Koha OPAC is just one iteration of what your Koha library's facing catalog can look like. Pretty much all the elements here that you're seeing are customizable. The right-hand side, including some links that you can add, the center area, which we're utilizing a cover flow to push out results such as our new books, our new nonfiction for our users to easily see those titles within that collection. This top area that allows your users to have quick links, whether to further search or other pages that you've created through the Koha staff interface web pages feature. And then once your user is logged in, they're going to have a little summary over on the right-hand side, which allows them to just get a quick look at their account, if they have checkouts, overdues, any holds, and any messages. And finally, the bottom area is also customizable. So colors, fonts, logos, it's really going to hopefully mimic what your logo is and what your website looks like, and really let your patrons not feel like they're leaving your site while exploring your catalog. I'm going to go ahead and just do a simple search within the catalog, maybe of gardening. So we're headed into fall. I don't know how much gardening I'll do, but this allows me to see the results within the catalog. On the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, I'm making it a little bit bigger. On the left-hand side, I have some facets that I can refine that result to, looking at some of the mark fields such as authors and titles, series and locations, and then also your item information such as your material type, where it lives in your library, and what library it's living in. So your user can go ahead and pick any of these and refine those results. Koha also connects to several e-content providers such as Hoopla, Overdrive, and Cloud Library, so your user can see results within those collections without leaving the Koha OPAC and also check items out. And we'll go through that now. We'll go ahead and click this Overdrive collection. It's going to search for the Overdrive collection within the system. I'm not leaving the Koha OPAC, and I can easily go ahead and check out these titles within my Overdrive collection. If there was something that couldn't be checked out, I could also place a hold as well. I'm going to go ahead and just hit that back button. Now with the physical materials within my collection, you can see I get a little short result, title, a cover image. That cover image is getting pulled in from 3 different sites: Google Books, Amazon, and Open Library. So that comes with Koha, that it's going to pull from that ISBN. Your user has the ability to easily go ahead, place that on hold, or create a list or add to a cart, which is just a really temporary location. They're kind of evaluating their the books that they're looking for. If I were to click into any of these titles, I'm going to see a bit more about the title itself. I'm going to have a summary. I'll have some subjects that I can click. I have the authors, or if I'm looking for something more specific or by a specific publisher, I can do that. And as I scroll down, I'm able to see the item specific information, where it lives, that call number, if it's checked out or available on the shelf. Koha can connect to your Novelist Select account as well. So if you do have Novelist Select, your user would be able to see similar titles about this book and so on and so forth. Another great feature the Koha OPAC has for your users is this browse the shelf. This would allow your user from their cozy couch at home be able to look at the titles around this book and look at other options. Over on the right-hand side, your user can go ahead and place it on hold, again, adding it to that list that they're curating, ask for a purchase suggestion, send to a device, so I can scan that QR code and put it on my phone, or save this record in other formats. Your user also has the ability to do an advanced search in the OPAC. So that allows I heard it yesterday, a power user in your library catalog to be able to search really specifically what they're looking for with that first advanced search. So they can use this top option to utilize the dropdown and fill out these fields using the Boolean operators and really refining their results right from the get-go. They can also opt to say, hey, I saw it in this specific shelving location, or it's definitely, I only want to read this in audiobook. So they have the ability to easily refine what they're looking for from this options. And then the bottom gray boxes, you have the ability to say, I only want to see what's available or at a specific library, or maybe within a publication date range. So your user does have the ability to find those results really quickly and easily. If they know what they're looking for, or if they're just browsing, they can go ahead and use that regular search. I'm going to click my user's name up in the top right-hand corner, just so we can go to their account. And what your patrons are going to see when they log in, they're going to have the ability to see their summary. If the staff have left them any messages from the Koha staff interface for them to see on the OPAC, they'll see those messages up there, and they can also dismiss them once they've read them, which is pretty exciting. That's coming in the next release. So you might see some things that are relatively new. Any checkouts that this patron has will be listed here. I can see if I can renew it, if it's on hold, if I have any overdues, I can see that. Any specific items that I have on hold, I can cancel any holds. I can see holds that are waiting for me at the library. I can also suspend or freeze holds. And then finally, anything that I've checked out through that Overdrive or Hoopla, I have the ability to see from this tab, the Overdrive account tab. And again, I don't have to leave the Koha OPAC. I can easily return that or get it again on that new device. Over on the left-hand side, you'll have the ability to see any account fines and fees they have, if they would like to change their password, search history and checkout history if they've opted into the privacy, as well as holds history. Your patrons, if you want them to, can place purchase suggestions, which is going to go right over to the Koha staff interface for your staff to be able to manage and accept or reject those purchase suggestions, which leads you right into the acquisition module. Your patron can opt in or opt out of the courtesy messages by Koha. And that's things like item due or advance due. Your hold is ready for pickup. Your items have been auto-renewed. You should have picked your book up because you only have a few more days left, so your hold reminders. Koha sends out notifications via SMS and email, and your patron can opt in or opt out of those. Koha also integrates with third-party vendors such as Itiva or Shoutbomb. So if you did want to utilize the phone option, you absolutely have that opportunity. If you're utilizing the SMS, your user would go ahead and throw in their SMS number in that provider, so those text messages can be sent directly to your patron. Okay, Well, we're gonna head over to the staff interface. My time is very short and I want to show you as much as I can, but that's just a quick look at the Koha OPAC and what your patrons can get out of that. I'm going to go ahead and pop back over to head over to the staff interface. And here I am. And I'm making it a little bigger. Hopefully that's not too big for y'all. So we are on the Koha staff interface. The Koha staff interface is completely web-based. So any internet browser, Google, Firefox, Safari, Microsoft Edge can be utilized to access the Koha staff interface. It also is mobile responsive. So if you're heading out or if you have a bookmobile or an outreach vehicle, you absolutely can take Koha on the road with your users and staff, register cards, check things out, search the catalog. Everything can be done if that device has internet access and an internet browser. So that's pretty fantastic. Another really good advantage of Koha is all permission-based. I'm logged in as a super librarian, so I have access and all those modules within Koha are visible, but your users and staff members can have their own logins, and then they would only see the modules that they need during their daily workflow processes. And that's really fantastic. Every module that you see, everything comes with Koha. There's no additional cost for specific modules. You absolutely get the new electronic resource management module, as well as cataloging and all your technical services needs. Koha's reporting module, a point of sale module. All these are 100% included within Koha. Now, the OPAC, we talked about how that was customizable. The staff interface is also customizable. So this left-hand side, we're utilizing as a way to communicate to our staff members. We have a link out to some resources. We've integrated a Google Calendar to let our staff know what conferences we're at in our example, or if you had meeting rooms, you could absolutely integrate that. And we're also connecting some quick reports that my users and staff members can go ahead and run right from the front page of the staff interface. This bottom area also has some communication back and forth from the OPAC. So any purchase suggestions that have been created by my patrons will show up here. I also have the ability to approve and see tags and comments. And then also if there was any reporting of an issue with the OPAC, that would also appear here. Your staff don't need to go digging for this information. That communication from your patrons to the staff is seamless, and it's always appearing at this bottom of the screen. I'm going to talk about the top area as well. The top area, this black bar will allow me to access any module within the system. So I can easily, wherever I am, I can easily go to another module without hitting that home button, coming back to this page and then heading out. I also have this green area, which utilizes really a lot of the circulation function within Koha. Check out and check in, renew an item, search the patrons, and then finally search the catalog. This utilizes and saves so many clicks. I can easily do a lot of my circulation tasks right from this main bar, which really is going to save me some time. If I was in the serials module, just as an example, you can see that green bar has evolved to accommodate the module I'm in. So now it's under search subscriptions, and I have the ability to search by ISSN or by title. So it has certainly evolved. However, I still have that quick checkout button and search the catalog. We all know that we are probably multitasking in a day, so we have easy functionality here. Another thing I want to point out, because it is a web-based browser, I always can go ahead and open something in a new tab, which allows me to stay on one page and access another page at the same time. If you're a tabber, that's great. If not, you certainly don't need to use those. Another thing I want to point out over here is you have this link for the help manual. Koha has 2 releases a year and publishes 2 manuals each time with the updates showing. When I'm in a specific module, like I was in the serials, and I click the help button, I'm easily brought directly to the serial section of the manual. Don't have to dig around and find that section. I'm brought right to it. The left-hand side will bring me and allow me to access any other areas within the module, and I can go specifically to an area within the serials module. But as I scroll down, you can see it breaks it down into step-by-step screenshots and workflow issues and changes and needs that a staff member may have. That did open it in a new tab for me. So if I click back to my other tab, I'm brought right back to where I was. I haven't lost my spot. Finally, the last thing I want to point out up here is in the top right-hand corner in the black bar is the person that's logged in, that's myself, and the branch that I'm logged in at. So I can see my name and the branch that I'm logged in at, so I know it's me that's logged in and using my account. Okay, let's pop back over to that home button, which allows me to come back to the main page. Clicking this little home or this Koha logo will bring me back to that home page. If I start to type in somebody's first name or last name or scan that barcode, it's going to bring me directly to the patron or give me a drop-down list of patrons I can choose from. From this, I can see on the left-hand side a little bit about the patron, some key details, an image if the library has uploaded images, or if they have webcams or cameras installed in into their computer, they can easily snapshot a picture of the patrons as they create them. I'm brought right to my checkout. You can see my little cursor waiting for that barcode to check it out. And then over on the right-hand side, I have kind of an attention area if this patron has overdues, if they have any holds waiting, any notes and messages for that patron. Down below, I have any checkouts that the patron has, whether they can be renewed or not renewed. If it's on hold, I can see all those details right here. I also can see the patron's holds. I can change any part of the hold from this holds tab. If the patron needed to pick it up at another location, if they needed to cancel or suspend those holds, I can do that right from this page. I also can, if I need to cancel any of the holds for the patron, I can go ahead and send them a notice and let them know why that was canceled. Koha has the ability to mark things claimed returned. You can place manual restrictions on a patron, and you can enroll them in the clubs within the Koha system. Over on the right-hand side, a few things that I want to point out. I have the ability to see any charges or payments or transactions that have happened on this patron's account. I'm able to see payments or if they've been charged for lost fines. So a nice transactional summary of the patron's account. And I can also create a manual invoice. Any notifications that have been sent to the patron will live in the Notice tab. This is a great opportunity for patrons, well, staff really, to see what patrons' messages have been sent and received and maybe not sent. So you can see, I can see the notice checkouts. I can resend that notice. So if it didn't go or the patron didn't receive it, I can certainly go ahead and resend that message from the patron's account. I have the ability to see how it got sent and if it was sent specifically and the time it went out, helping to diagnose any problems with those messages not getting received. A few other options that we have in the patron's account at the top. I can certainly duplicate a patron's account, which means if I had a husband and wife or two partners or a family that needed all to make a card, I can duplicate one card that's existing and create multiple and not have to enter all that data again. I can print any slips, checkout slips, check-in slips, overdue slips right from the patron's account. Something to note, any notification or notice or slip that is sent out from the library can be customized. So you as a library can decide what shows up on each of these slips and how it's customized, including logos. Finally, over on the more drop-down menu, this is where you would be able to set permissions for staff members within the Koha system. If I click that set permissions, you can see I have a super librarian. If I unclick those, you're able to see all the opportunities that you have to give patrons, staff members, all of these options, for example, checkout or check-in, or if you want to take away some of those. So you have lots of flexibility in adding and taking away patron permissions. Go ahead and save that. There we go. Now head back over to this top circulation in the black bar, just to show you this other circulation tasks that live within this module. On the far left, I have checkout, check-in, renew. I also in the middle have all my holds reports, the holds that I need to pull off the shelf. That would be the holds queue or the holds to pull report. Holds awaiting pickup, the items that are on my shelf ready to be picked up. And then also I have some transfer reports, and then I can easily run any overdue reports or overdue reports with fines. Koha does have an offline circulation tool. So from the circulation module, you have the ability to go ahead and upload those offline circulation files. If you did lose your internet and needed to work with the offline circ module, you can do that and then upload those files right into Koha. Back up in the main page, I'm going to pop back up there. Koha has, in essence, 3 searches that staff can do while looking for material for your patrons. We talked about this search the catalog, so I can go ahead and search keyword here or use the drop-down choice from this center green bar. I also have both an advanced search and an item search. This advanced search will allow me to, again, looks very familiar to what we saw in the OPAC, allows me to, using keywords, Boolean operators, title, author combo, publication date, subject combo. The world is crazy that way up there. Then I can also use item type, shelving location, collection code, just as we saw on the OPAC. Super useful. The other search is the item search. The item search allows for a lot of the same functionality that the advanced search has, so such as library, shelving location, item type, collection, but it also includes other things such as statuses, so your item statuses, your lost statuses, your withdrawn statuses. You can also look for a specific field using wildcards such as barcode or call number. Libraries can create their own custom search fields. So if you're looking for something specific in your MARC record or your item record, you can create a custom search field to run within this item search. You also can do a call number range, looking at checkout counts or checkout dates. And then finally, unlike the advanced search, you have the ability to look at those results on the screen, create a CSV or a barcode file when you're running a report such as this. So if you were to look at a report, it's going to look a little bit different from your regular search. It still gives you the ability to access any of these titles, but it's giving the results with collection, publication date, and as I scroll way over, that lost status, if it has checkouts, and if it's due. I also can edit the item or record right from here. Now, I exported this to my screen, but I can certainly at this point go ahead and send that to a CSV or a barcode file now. The next area that we're going to head over to is the cataloging module. Within the cataloging module, you have the ability to create records, whether using the basic or the advanced editor, which we'll pop into. You can create brand new records, original cataloging, or using the Z39.50 search tool. And then finally, you have the ability to import records when you're getting those from your vendors. If we were to utilize the Z39.50 search, I can go ahead, click that, enter any of the search information, the targets, and then I'm provided with the results, and then I can directly import that right into the system. If I were to create a new record, I have the ability to choose what template or what Koha calls frameworks into the system. And this is going to bring me right into the advanced editor. So it's going to give me this keyboard-driven opportunity to enter the fields that I need to create this new record. I also can have macros set up within the advanced editor. So an example of a macro could be I want to apply a suppression rule on this record, making it suppress from the OPAC. If I go ahead and hit that run, it's going to be applied right to this record. I have some settings within the advanced editor, such as size of text or font that's used within the advanced editor. And then finally, I have some keyboard shortcuts, which allow me to define how I'm going to add that delimiter or go to the next position or paste something from the clipboard. Within the advanced editor, I also have the Z39.50 search. I'm going to go over to the basic editor just so we can see how that looks, because both can be used by your library, and it's a permission thing as well as probably just a what you're comfortable with or what you like to see. This is the basic editor, which I have 10 tabs at the top, bringing me to those respected mark fields. I can also click on any of the subfields and be brought down to that area within the record itself. With this basic editor, I'm going to see all the fields, but I don't necessarily need to fill them all in. By the frameworks, it will be determined what is required, as well as what is important to be created when I'm creating this record. Finally, the stage mark records for import, I would go ahead and create hit this stage mark records for import. And then I would tell Koha how I want this file of records to be processed. Koha does have a profile that you can create, and once you've created one, apply to any imports. So this will tell Koha how to evaluate and set the following next few steps: settings, modifications using mark modification template, and then finally looking for your records in the catalog. So you have the ability to kind of set it and forget it. When you're uploading these files, you can have an easy way to apply those choices automatically. So you can see I chose the Baker and Taylor, and it's saying, hey, don't forget, we're going to match on the 020 and we're going to replace it. Finally, you can always add item record data to your mark records, and then Koha will create those items for you. At any time, if you are creating a new profile, you can go ahead and save it at the bottom. If we went ahead and imported this file of records, it's going to live in our managed stage mark records, where I can see every file of records that were imported. I can see the status. I can see how many records and how many items are attached. If I were to click into any of these, I can absolutely go ahead and see that record and even the mark record that I brought in. If I see that record, I can also see it in the if it exists, I can also see it in the bibliographic form within my Koha system. Back to the cataloging module, that's really not all for cataloging. We have lots of batch editing opportunities, batch editing items within the system and records, performing inventory, exporting your catalog data. These are all really good tools that you can utilize and process within the system. Mark modification templates, label creation, uploading cover images. You can absolutely upload a cover image from any source, from your desktop, or take a picture and upload it to any record within the system. I'm going to go ahead and just look at a record so we can see what one looks like. And here is a bibliographic record that has been created. So you can see it looks very similar to the OPAC. I have the top area that gives me subjects, a summary. I can look at what that looks like in the OPAC. I can look at the mark preview. So I can look at the entire mark record. I can see the cover image, where it's being brought from, and then finally those holdings. So how many items I have. Below that, you can also see we also have that Novelist Select integration. So even for the staff, they're easily able to see that information. If this item was created in the acquisition module, this acquisition tab would allow me to see when it was ordered, where it was ordered, and whether that is something that's on site currently. Back to my, so that really sums up that cataloging. There is so much more we could talk about, but we're going to head over to our acquisition module because we want to show as much as we can about just the overview of Koha today. The acquisition module has a couple of different, I guess, sub-modules within the module. You can create vendors. Vendors would allow you to assign orders to them, but it also is the ability to store vendor information within Koha, such as address or account information or a website or phone number. I can also add contacts, such as an account rep, a sales rep, customer service rep, and then also give some ordering information. So list prices, do I pay tax? Do I get a discount? How much delivery time is there? This is really useful. So for those users that can have access to the vendor information, this is great if you do need to get some information about the vendor, maybe making a phone call to them, and it's all very accessible here. Another thing within the acquisition module and a sub module of acquisitions is the ability to create both budgets and funds. You can create as many budgets as you want, assigning a date range, whether that's the calendar year, the fiscal year, or just a quarter of the year. It's really up to you. And then once you've created a budget, you're going to apply funds to those. Funds can be, any kind of name, description, what library it's applied to, and the amount within that fund you can spend out of that budget. You can also create sub-funds within the funds. So you can have a larger fund and then smaller funds below, really being able to get granular in those orders. Then finally, you have the ability to create the orders within Koha. That would give you the ability to create a basket. Let's say we're ordering from Amazon, give that basket a name, internal notes, vendor notes, nothing else is required. How you want Koha to process those items, or if those items are getting created when you do the order, or maybe when you catalog the record. This really depends on your workflow. Once you've created that basket, you can go ahead and then add items, whether that is from a file of records, so that would be from a new file, or from a purchase suggestion, creating just a simple empty record, or from a Z39.50. You can also create an order from something that's in your system currently. You absolutely can add as many things as you want within the system. After you go ahead and do that, you can add to the basket, and then as any point, you can go ahead and export that basket, add to a CSV. Now let's look at an existing basket that I have for Amazon. And that's nice. That's a really nice one, Kel. There you go. You can see once I have the basket, I have the basket information that I created, and then any orders below. This allows me to see the title, the price, the replacement price, the fund that it was applied to, and then the estimated delivery date. If I were to click over to this title within the system, I'm opening that up in a new tab, I can go ahead and see this record that has been created. And then let's pop over to that acquisition detail, and I can see that information below. At any point, I can go ahead and receive shipments. So once I've gone ahead and processed that order and that box comes with items, I can go ahead and receive those shipments. I can receive anything within the vendor itself. So I would go to the vendor that it sent me to, enter an invoice number, and then start to receive items that I'm waiting from that vendor. If I had multiple items to receive, I have a little checky box that I can go ahead and check each of those to receive them. What I love about this acquisition main page is the ability to have a quick look at where my funds are financially. I can also click what I've ordered and what I've spent in each of these funds and get a quick look at the items that I have spent within that fund. So I get a nice look. And of course, since this is a web browser, I can go ahead and print this at any point. A few other choices over on the left-hand side. I can search for my late orders. I can look at my invoices. Koha does connect with 10 plus vendors using EDI ordering. So we can set up EDI ordering, Baker and Taylor, Brodart, Ingram, Midwest Tape, Findaway, Playaway, Gobi. I'm going to miss a few, but you can certainly do that, and we'll work with you to set that up. You have some reports that you can easily run from the acquisition module. And then finally, you have some administration areas that you can customize. If anything you leave today watching this is just the ability to really customize each module, each area of Koha to fit the needs of your library. I'm going to head over to the reporting module. The reporting module is the ability to create reports within the Koha system. All the data that you're storing, whether that's in your acquisition data, your serials data, your bibliographic data, your patron data, can be reported on. Even your circulation history, your local use history, any of that can be reported on, which means that you have the ability to access a lot of data. Koha does have a guided report option, which is going to walk you through 6 steps to create a report using SQL, but you don't know it's using SQL because it's asking you questions. You can create a report using SQL, or you can use a saved report within the system. During the migration, your test site will have about 50 reports provided to you, organized in these tabs to which module they're identifying to be run in. However, during the migration, we'll also talk about other reports that you need created. We have report writers that will create those reports for you, as well as schedule any that need to be run at a specific frequency and emailed out. So that's something that can be done as well through the reporting module. But then in addition, any report that's created for you or on your system can be easily run right from the screen. So here I am in the saved reports. Any of these reports here, I can go ahead and hit that run button and get those results. This says new bib records between dates. Let me throw in some dates here. I'm able to see all the new records that have been created. Oh, there's 696. We've been quite busy. I can see the title, head on over to that bibliographic record if I wanted to, see an author, and see that date accessioned. At any point, I can easily edit the report, duplicate the report, add some more information if I wanted to, and schedule that report. Now, Koha has one little great feature, well, in this area. It has lots of little great features, but in the report module, Koha also has a MANA knowledge base. This MANA knowledge base is like a Z39.50 for reports. The Koha community shares their reports if they want to, and this allows your other Koha users to search for other SQL reports specific to Koha, look at those reports, and directly import that report right into their Koha system, which would easily allow that report to be run and saved on their Koha system. So it's a great opportunity to, if you've created a report, to share it, but also to take benefit in other libraries' reports. Okay. Finally, the other thing, if you are a person that loves, SQL and information about Koha itself, within the report module, let me head back over to the main pages there as well. Within the report module, over on the right-hand side, you do have access to the database schema, which will help utilizing those reports or adding additional fields to your select statements. And then Koha has also provided you with some reports that are, in essence, kind of easily run right from this screen. Items lost, items with no checkouts. You can go ahead and just click that to go. Koha finally has some statistic wizards, which allow you to run some quick look at how many checkouts I did yesterday or how many patrons were created last month, and give you some raw data. I'm going to head over to the tools module. This is a great way to see a lot of the actions that you can apply to the data within the system. The report module, you're going to run reports to get data. Within the tools modules, you can run actions against the data. So you could go ahead and do a batch patron modification. You could do things like create and customize your overdue and notices and slips. So you have the whole gamut of notices and slips that get sent out, and then you can easily go ahead and edit those or apply those to one specific branch and not other ones. Lots of customization that lives within the tools. Uploading patron images. You can assign a calendar, which would allow your library to say when you're open and closed, which is going to work closely with the circulation and fine rule table. You can create news. So that when we looked at the customization of the staff interface, what we saw on the left-hand side, or the OPAC, you have the ability to create additional customizations through this tools option. You can upload patron images, batch extend due dates, set up your overdue notice status and triggers. So a very good look at the tools area in just a really short amount of time. The last area that I want to hit before we wrap up is the Koha administration area. And this is really the heart of the creation of your Koha system. This is where you're going to set up your branches or your libraries, assign those item types. If you want to create library groups within the system, if you have sub little groups within your consortium, you have the ability to turn on and turn off specific features for those library groups. It's really helpful for hold groups or editing of items, hiding patron information. So it has this nice look at how libraries really work differently from state to state, from county to county, and kind of looking at all that. Everywhere we go throughout the Koha system, we have drop-down menus, which are authorized values, which allow you to define those statuses. So for if you have only 3 lost statuses and Koha has 6, you can certainly modify that to just have those 3. Creating those patron categories within the library system, how long their card is good for, whether they pay an enrollment fee, if they have a password expiration date. So if you want them to reset their password every 30 days, what messages they get by default. I mean, we get pretty granular in all the administration areas within Koha. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to define frameworks within Koha. So those are those bibliographic and item templates we talked about. You can go ahead and create those item search fields. You can, under additional parameters, you can add more Z39.50 servers. If you had a specific target in mind that you like their records, you can customize what shows up in each table within Koha. You can even create your own audio alerts. So Koha does have audio alerts, and if you love them and you want to assign cool ones, you can absolutely do that. And then one last look. In addition to that entire page of administration, and we walk through this process during the migration, you'll have a dedicated Koha educator that will go through this, talk about your workflows, meet about your circulation policies and your technical services policies, and we'll be curating these as we go along, but just to show you how much power you could do yourself and have the ability to do, just popping over to these system preferences, which can show you that over on the left, each area that a system preference lives and what it entails. So whether you're going to turn something off or turn something on, it's really kind of fun to look at all these opportunities that you have, whether you use the advanced editor, whether you don't use it, where your call numbers are generated from. Is it the 082 or the 090? Are your barcodes generated automatically? Go ahead and pick that and then apply it, and that will be set and ready to go. So there's about 800 system preferences, not to scare anybody, but that's part of that process of implementing Koha, is going through and making sure that it all works for your library. Okay, well, I thank you very much for watching. And again, this will be posted on our YouTube channel and sent out that recording to y'all. And we hope to see you again.